everything still looks so lush for December. Okay, I still haven't done the compost. that particular job is still on the list. Mum has collected Lily on her way down. It's quite nice walking this way down to the allotment now we don't use the front gate, because we kind of walk down and have a big old view of the whole plot on the way down. The pond netting has worked a treat though. Look at that, it's caught loads. Actually, I dusted this all off the other day, so it had caught loads and loads of leaves, but barely a leaf in the pond. Perfect. Is it nice in the sunshine, Lil?
You were going to take the pumpkin back, weren't you, and have a go at making some
Yes.
ravioli
Yeah.
today, but
Morning. It's an absolutely beautiful day again. Just perfect blue sky. We're being so lucky with this weather. I mean, it's balmy and cold today. We got the sun on the allotment at the moment, so it's actually quite toasty warm, but we were up here at about 2 o'clock yesterday. So I've said this 100 times before, but in the winter, we lose the sunshine at about sort of 1:30, 2 o'clock. It goes behind the trees and the sun's so low on that side. In the winter, like the temperature just went whoosh, straight down, and in the end we kind of walked home like that. Oh, it was so cold. So we're up here earlier this morning, so we're going to get a couple of hours good work done while the sun is up and the sky is blue. There's actually not a huge number of jobs on the to-do list. It's that sort of time of year. I mean, there's things to be getting on with, but most of them are like clearing, raking, chopping back, all that kind of thing, which isn't the most exciting. But I've got 2 things on the list today, which are both legume based. I've got to tie up the broad beans. You know, when I planted out my broad beans, some of them were like a really good size, and I'd let a couple of them get a little bit long. Well, they're now like, you know, when broad beans go like kind of snakes and they grow across the ground like that. So I want to tie them up nice and early so that they don't cause problems in the spring when they really start kicking off. And the other thing I need to do is top out the sweet peas that are in the polytunnel. That's not a polytunnel, the greenhouse. Just to kind of, because they're getting quite leggy as well, I want to just kind of take them back down again and make them really nice and stocky for next year. So that is what's on the cards today, chaps. I better go and get some sticks. Broad bean bed. I've decided I am going to try and grow some more of these because this just isn't enough. But look at this poor chap. I've lost one. Or don't know if I've lost him or not, but something's happened. So I'm just going to tie him up and hope he's all right. These are the ones that were a bit leggy. You see how they're sort of already lying down. The ones that were on this end of the bed, perfect size. They're only a couple of inches when I put them in, so they've stayed really good and strong. Ones on that side, I mean, ignore that one. That was one of the self-seeded ones. Same as that one, which is in full flower. We'll just ignore those chaps. But these guys just need to be stood up so that they are straight for spring. I'm going to use these little pea canes. They're dark green and ones that I say every year I'm not going to use again because they're lethal. They're dark green and really, really skinny, so you can't see them when you're looking down into a bed. And the number of times I've nearly taken my eye out with them, it's just, they're awful. And I saved a load of corks last year that I was going to drill out and put on the end, but I haven't got round to it. And every year I say I'm not going to use them again. And yet here we are. But I only want them just over the winter, just to hold these guys up so that they're straight for the spring, and then I will replace them when I put the proper supports in here. So there will be bamboo canes and strings to hold these up for when they start actually producing beans in the spring. But yeah, these canes, they are a nightmare. So I'm going to tie a little bit of string onto the very tips of them just to try and make them a little bit more visible when you're looking down into the bed. And not only are they pants for poking your eye out, they snap really easily too. I see people put little, you know, like little tiny, then like yogurt drink pots over the top of their canes and stuff like that. Well, I don't drink yogurt drinks and I don't have anything at the moment. So, yeah, string is just going to have to be string and hoping. Actually going to cover those broad beans up now that I've tied them up. They're not being eaten, and it's not like with the field beans which are being kind of just turfed out and their bottoms being eaten. These guys are past that point. It's just that because I'm hoping that they're going to turn into quite big beasts of plants in the early spring next year, I've planted them really quite far apart, which means there's a lot of bare soil between them, and somebody is coming along and just digging up the soil around them, which is then knocking them over, which is what I think's happened to that one, you know, that was snapped. So we're just going to put a bit of netting over them to try and discourage that. Got a lot of these plastic poles in here. I'm just going to put one of those little frames together and throw some netting over. So I need to go and find myself some corners from the pot of plastic goodies. I think one of those poles I'm using has already got one attached, so I just need 3 of these. Fantastico. Fighting. Come on. Right, there we go. Fab. Broad beans adequately protected. Right, I need something hot. I'm freezing.
It's really cold around there. It's very foxy.
Oh dear.
Foxy.
There you go, Mum.
Oh, it's going to be hot.
It's going to be very hot. Oh, it's warm my hands.
Steam coming off it.
Yeah. Is it really hot? It will be quite warm.
Come on, son.
Oh, it answered.
Because this is where it's lovely when the sun comes out here in the winter.
Time to top the sweet peas. So a bit like the broad beans, actually, I'm doing some overwintered sweet peas, which are these ones obviously, and then I will sow some more in the spring. Last year I had no luck with sweet peas whatsoever. I completely forgot to sow the ones that were going to overwinter, and the ones that I sowed in spring, I got maybe, 4 or 5 flowers out of them, and then they got by the incredibly hot summer. They were just burnt to a crisp basically. So I got nothing last year, which was pretty sad. So this year I'm doing both winter and spring sown ones to try and maximise my sweet pea enjoyment next year. A couple of years ago I tried overwintering them, and one of the things I didn't do was this, which is the pinching out of the tops, and they're just incredibly leggy and sad over the winter, and by the time I planted them out they weren't great looking plants. Hence I'm actually on it with the pinching out this year. So pinching out, you want to wait till the sweet peas are got about sort of 4 or so sets of leaves on them, and then you pinch them out back down to 2 sets of leaves, and this is to stop them getting incredibly leggy and just keep growing, because they just grow from their one growing tip at the top, and this is to kind of let them consolidate their growth, and you get much sort of stockier, bushier plants ready for next spring. I may have to do that again, like before the winter's out, depending on how warm it is. before I actually, you know, get them out. But yeah, hopefully that's going to keep them short enough so that they are in absolute peak bushy condition for spring. Oh, actually, while I'm in here, so you know the scenario with not getting the end bit done and buying the new clips? Well, Mum went on to, what is it, Amazon? Something like Amazon, eBay, one of those kind of things, and ordered some new ones, exactly the same as the old ones we had. But what came turned out to not be those. It was like dark green ones of, you know, these. But just like elongated, so in the picture they looked exactly like the ones we wanted, but they weren't. So we have we're now delayed, but we've got some more ordered of the actual ones. Couldn't find an alternative. However, I did get a lot of comments from people about using like small paper clips or bulldog clips, which I think might work really well. I reckon paper clips. So I'm also going to buy a pot of metal paper clips. Actually, there's another fine specimen of chocha on there that I missed last week when I was saving the seeds, so I'll take that home, get the seed out of that too. It's always good to have spare, isn't it? So that was just one plant. I planted out 3, I think, at the beginning of the year. The first 3 all got eaten off by slugs, and then my neighbour, who was growing the same variety of me, gave me one of hers, which I planted, which was this one. I protected it a bit better. And it basically kept us in a chocha, just the one plant, for the whole year, although it was very slow to get going because of the weather. But yeah, so I think next year I'm probably going to grow 3. Although I've already said I've got all those different varieties to try, haven't I? We might be a bit inundated with the chocha if I grow 3 of each, because they're pretty rampant. Right, what is next on the agenda? Mum is still weeding away at the side of the pond, which is fab. I don't know what else to do. Well, in the end, we paused too long to think and got cold. So we are going to call it a day up here. And tomorrow we're doing something different. So, yay. See you in the morning. Oh, these dark mornings are not great, are they? Just not great. It's so difficult to get out of bed when it's pitch black. Anyway, 2 things today. The first one is we have got a segment from the Hazelmere correspondent. So do you remember we've been down to see Johanna, my sister's garden, a couple of times? She lives down in Hazelmere. And anyway, I haven't been down there for such a long time that she gave up on waiting for me to come down and do a bit of filming and have a look around. So she sent me a little video of just having a bit of a look around what she's up to, because you remember she's inundated with onions because she gave me what was left over of her onions, or what she didn't plant, and I couldn't even use them all. So she's gone overboard on the onions, but it's really nice to see what her garden's doing. The only word of warning is it's filmed upright rather than like long ways like this, so it's just going to be like in the middle of the screen rather than like across the whole lot. But you know, next time she can turn the phone around. And the other thing is it's a bit startlingly warm and sunny looking, because this was filmed like a week ago, or a full week ago, just slightly more than a week ago actually, because I was going to put it on last week's vlog, but I couldn't get it to download. She sent it to me on an email. So we've had technical difficulties. So it's still, you know, we had that really warm stretch of weather up until like basically this week, where the temperatures have just fallen off a cliff. Well, this is a glimpse at beautiful warm sunshine from 2 weeks ago. I suspect it doesn't quite look like that anymore. And then once we've had a look at what's going on in Johanna's garden, we're going to go up and have a look at the Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square, and probably go and have a pint. Just wait for the sun to come up.
Look at that sky, Jess. It's absolutely fantastic. But I haven't cut down anything yet, so it's looking a bit scruffy in the garden, I'd have to say. I've done some clearing in, so some weeding. I planted garlic and onions, some in pots. That's the field beans. They're all popping up. The asparagus bed has got manure on it, so that's good. Oh, I've got some shallots in the bed, and then I've got a Taunton Dean at the back there, perennial kale and cauliflower. And obviously some chard, some more chard in that pot. Here I've got some radar, sea kale, garlic, I think that's it, coriander at the front there. I have cut down the cherry, which is good. Sorry, plum, I don't know why I said cherry. Greenhouse, what have I got going on in the greenhouse at the moment? So yeah, I've moved some of the sedums in here. Oh, I've got my citrus plants that I rescued from the garden centre that they don't know which ones they are. So, and there's my cuttings that I took of all the olives. They're doing quite well. I've got the sweet peas are coming up. And then I've got all broad beans needing a bit of space, oh bless. And some more there, and some painted lady sweet peas are popping up. See that horrible mess in the middle of my lawn? That's because I've lost all the box to that caterpillar. The box caterpillar. I don't want to spray my garden 4 times a year, so I just dug it all up. I don't want to spray anything. What have I got? Nothing. Oh, I've grown little primroses which I've got to get in quickly, and the rest is a mess. Got hedgehog houses, piles of leaves for the hedgehogs to live in if they don't want a pre-built house. Oh, Herman's house, he's not that well, he's dug himself down, he is there, but he's right in that house and dug into the soil, so I will pull him out before it gets too cold and then stick him in the fridge at 5 degrees. Strawberry bed, that's also got some onions in it because I just didn't have enough space. I've put the snowball in there, and this is my job to tackle. Look at this, I've got to get this chopped down and get it ready for winter, and I've done nothing. I am so behind. Anyway, so yeah, and then I've got to have a plan for this. Oh, there's my shadow. Thinking I could turn it back to lawn around the fig, but I don't want to do that. I think I might just sort it all out and put some lavender in there. Okay, anyway, look at the colour, isn't that lovely? I love my Asa. Okay, that's all I've got to tell you really. You've not missed much, I've done nothing.
beautiful and warm in the sunshine. And those girlies?
Here in the sun. Water frozen, yes.
Their other water's okay.
Is it?
Lil! Gorgeous Lil! So you may have noticed we got a frost last night, which is incredibly exciting because some years, like 2 years ago, we never even got a frost all year. It was just nothing. So yeah, pretty excited about this, to be honest. Oh, proper cold this morning. Right, let's go and have a look at what temperature the greenhouse got to. What did we get down to? Look at that, -2.5. Woo-hoo. That is chilly. Look at this, the mulberry tree has lost everything last night. This had really quite a lot of leaf left on it, and look, they're all just they've all just come straight off in the night. Same thing's happening to the what's it called, the oak tree above us. Look, ooh, so many leaves coming down in that cold. Is it autumnal, Lil? Is it autumnal? Ah, beautiful. Okay, let's have a look at the damage. So what I really wish I'd done yesterday when I was up here now was filmed like bit of a look around at everything, because loads of stuff has collapsed. Like, look at this. Even the stuff which I know is going to survive the winter, it's just had a bit of a shock, you know, when everything collapses. So it's like the leaf chicory. Have a look at this, it looks a bit sad. Yesterday this was all perky and upright, and this morning it is neither perky nor upright. I mean, that's going to survive the winter, no problem. It's not like it's over. It's just had a bit of a shock. Likewise with the broad beans. Broad beans always give you a bit of a fright at this time of year, because they really show it when it's been cold, and they look like they've got no chance, but they don't really mind. They're just melodramatic. They'll sort themselves out, no worries. But yeah, bit collapso. But look at this grass, so exciting. We so rarely get frost. Something that hasn't done so well though, the Chimida wrapper is looking very sad. I'm glad we did a huge picking of that yesterday. This will survive cold weather, but it doesn't really thrive on it, and I reckon that's probably over now. Yeah. Casualty, the nasturtiums. Oh, look at that. Everything's just gone collapsed. Gone collapsed? Very nice English there, Jessie. Everything is just, yeah. Nasturtiums are over, I think it's safe to say. Little frozen wonders. And I was talking the other day about how the dahlias were still going strong. They are not anymore. They are kaput, ready to be chopped down and mulched for next year. Look how heavy the frost is still up here. Whoo-wee. Look at all this. It's so beautiful. Tell you what, test of real cold is the frond. Is the frond posing? The frond isn't posing. It's whether or not the pond is frozen that I was interested in. The frond is posing. Oh, really frozen.
You gonna stand on it?
No, I don't think you could stand on it. It is really white. The nasturtiums are completely kaput. Look at that. Just absolute collapso. Might pick the last of the raspberries today. What do you think? God, the smell as those nasturtiums are warming up and they're just all sort of collapsed. The smell is amazing. Yeah, wow. I mean, you can tell how much sooner we get the sun than anybody on that side, because look at that, it's just complete ice on that side on Ron's allotment. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Coming off there.
Oh wow.
And off the rubbish bin, you know,
yeah.
the wheelbarrow.
Yeah, it's interesting how different plots can be even on the same site. Like we get the sun, we're next door and we get the sun so much earlier than Ron does. We're pretty much defrosted. I mean, we've got a few pockets where it's still icy, but mostly, yeah, we're defrosted and yet he is still in the tundra. Girly girlies, what are you doing? Pulling it all apart, girly. Sorry, yep, still excited about the ice.
-4.2.
Minus 4.2.
Only 16.1 in there now, though.
Wow.
Lovely and warm in there.
But
You can sit in there.
yeah, but minus 4. Wow, that is cold. Just look at that perfect blue sky. Isn't that beautiful? What a day! What an incredible day. And that bit of cold has given us some jobs to do actually. I think it's time to cut the dahlias down. So some places where they get a lot colder than we do, although we're feeling pretty cold today, but places where it gets really genuinely cold, you have to lift your dahlias because they can freeze and rot out during the winter. But we've got sort of a double whammy that we're pretty protected here. We don't get that cold despite appearances. Yeah, this is about as cold as we've been for as long as I can remember, really. But so we don't get incredibly cold, and also because our soil is so incredibly sandy, it doesn't hold the moisture over winter and things don't tend to rot out. So things will survive being really cold in the ground much better if they're not waterlogged. And waterlogged isn't really a thing on this plot. It's more, we kind of go for more the desert look. So yeah, we don't have to lift our dahlias, which is nice. I have lifted dahlias in the past, and I do actually have a video. One of the first videos I ever made, actually, was about lifting dahlias. God, I don't even want to link that because it's probably incredibly cringeworthy. But there we go. So all we do every year is chop them down, and then in the spring we give them a good mulch. And that's about it. That's the complete dahlia care on plot 37.
I'm going to go down to the sunshine.
Right.
It's a bit warmer.
Yeah, it's pretty nippy. Her mum's wearing like double gloves, which means that she can't really do anything. Like, and the second pair of gloves she's got on the outside are absolutely enormous. I don't even know why we've got them. Like, they don't fit either of us. So she's kind of using like comedy hands. Not very good.
Enormous, look at them.
Yeah, I know. Why we've got them, I've no idea. Next thing on the list is to stuff the girlies' house with extra straw, so it's just that little bit cosier in there tonight because it's set to be cold again. There's not much we can do about their water freezing, but it won't freeze until late, and we'll be up here early o'clock tomorrow to break it for them, so it should be fine. Yes, girlies, hey? Should we get some extra straw? Huh? Some goodies? Yeah, I think so. actually it's pretty thick. Yeah.
That's what your hat nearly was.
Which one are we going to go for? Do you want to just do this little bit here first and then maybe go for them? Do you want me to? Do you want to? I don't think it's going to be that frozen. Have you got gloves on? There's some. Hold on a sec, I'm going to...
Oh, it's a nice clump.
It's a beautiful clump. Oh, that's wonderful. That'll do us, won't
Yes,
it?
there's plenty. Nice little.
Additional packet in there. Is that enough?
Yep, that's plenty.
Yeah. A couple of them a bit rotty, but I think they'll be fine.
That's good. Perfect. Perfect for us.
Nice clump of Jerusalem artichokes. These have been amazing this year. So good. Also going to pick some beetroot and some of that leaf chicory that was looking a bit sad this morning, but it's picked up now the sun's hit it.
Quite nice size ones in
There's
there.
a couple of real beauties, yeah. That's a good one there.
Seeing Colin doesn't like beetroot, we only need a couple of things.
Yeah. Probably one more, do you think, of a little tiny one like that one? Actually, if I clear that, that one's going to give the other two a bit more space. So let's go for those three. That's enough.
That's a newish one, isn't it?
Yeah. This one hasn't flowered, it was in the second generation. Head on the beetroot. Might take that branch off actually, seems it's right out in the path. Hey, Fluff. Beautiful Fluff. Look at that, beautiful. You look like the autumn leaves. Yeah, you do. Fat stuff. Fat stuff. Fat stuff. Meow. Meow.
But it's interesting because see just the top part of the asparagus. Yeah, it's a big one.
Oh, you've got one going all the way across. Broke it. It's quite thick.
That is, isn't it? Right through.
Yeah. Ooh, long one.
Frozen leaves.
Yeah, don't cut your finger.
Yeah. I'll just put them back on the soil.
Yeah, may as well.
There's nothing under there, is there?
No. Well, bit of a change in the weather. After such a warm November, December is definitely shaping up to be proper cold, way colder than normal. Like a couple of weeks ago when I was on the Potty Mouth Garden Club with Tony, I was saying that a couple of years ago we didn't even get one frost. Last year we did get a bit of frost, but not much. Yeah, so it's not like a given that it's ever going to get this cold, let alone this early. If we're going to get frost, it's normally like mid-January. This is quite extraordinary. Yeah, so this week, I hope you enjoyed the little segment of Johanna's garden. Next time, I am going to try and get her to film it, you know, what's it called, landscape rather than portrait. But still, you got a gist. And how nice was it just to have that glimpse of like a few weeks ago when it was still warm, still sunny, everything was go. Talking of Johanna, I met up with her last night, which was really nice. Haven't seen her for ages. Her and Paul. We may have decided to record the cheersing for the end of the video after we'd been in the pub for quite a long time. So I'm just going to warn you, this is quite drunken and chaotic. But anyway, here is the ending cheers. I'll leave you to it. So, although I didn't get to see Johanna's garden, I did get to see Johanna and Paul. This is a terrible ending to the video. Okay, so all I'm going to say is cheers. Johanna's garden has been wrecked by the frost.
We've been here all night. It's my excuse. I've been here all night, and she's just young, and
There's a bloody there's a bus. Right.
bus.
I'm afraid this is where we're ending the video. Cheers. Ta-ra, boys and girls.
Happy Christmas.